Now, this is going to be controversial, but I'm going to argue in this video there are literally only two things that matter in any Amazon business. You can do literally everything else wrong, and as long as you dial in and focus on these exact two things, you're going to make money no matter what. Now, my name is Peter Valley. I'm partially known for having terrible social skills and making outrageous declarations about selling on Amazon that probably should be phrased a little bit more gently. But in this particular instance, I stand by this 100%. There really are only two things. I really am going to make that case that you can do everything else wrong. And as long as you focus on these two things, it is impossible to lose money on Amazon. Okay, here's what we're going to cover. Why the simplest businesses, whether Amazon or not, are always the most profitable. Number two, the exact two things, the only two things that matter. This is not clickbait. There really are two. Number three, why it is impossible for you to lose money if you focus obsessively on these two things. Do this experiment with me. What if in about 5 minutes, everything in your Amazon business became dramatically simpler? All the mental clutter, all the stress, all the worrying about, am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? What if all of that vanished and you had an extremely simple business and you were alleviated of 90% of the stress that you currently have with your Amazon business? Would that be fantastic? If the answer is yes, you're going to love this video, because after this video, everything is going to become simpler. You're going to have a North Star, a Post-it note above your computer, if you will, with two things on it. And all you have to do every morning is wake up and not worry about your feedback score and not worry about what new widgets just came out. All you have to worry about is the two things on that Post-it note and ignore everything else, and you are guaranteed to make money. Now, I know that sounds insane, and actually I am clinically insane. Let's get that out of the way. But this is 100% true. Okay, so before we get to the two things, why does everyone feel like Amazon businesses are so complicated? Do you ever feel that way? I've got a theory about this. My theory is as follows: that if you spend time on the internet, whether it's YouTube or Facebook groups, everybody's trying to sell you something. The new listing software, the new optimizing workflow widget, all this stuff. And everyone is trying to sell you something. Their job is to make you feel like if you don't have their thing, that your Amazon business is going to suffer. So you come away from all these groups and all this, just all the noise on the internet, thinking, oh my gosh, the Amazon business is like, it's like 10 spinning plates, and I've got to run from one to the next, keeping everything going, or the whole thing is going to collapse, right? Do you guys feel this way? I would argue that's how a lot of people make a lot of money, making you feel like you need to manage 15 different things. But I'm here to tell you that's not the case. Okay, so Peter Valley, please shut up. Just please, for the love of all that is sacred, stop talking and tell us the two things. Okay, I'm going to do that. But I've got to mention the obligatory stuff. Subscribe and like this channel. If you do not subscribe to this channel right now and do not go to fbamastery.com right now, there's a link below this video. I will personally come to your house and rearrange your furniture. I swear I will do it. Do not tempt me. Go to fbamastery.com. Get all the free stuff you see here. You can build a whole business off of what I give away for free. Link is below this video. And I got to mention, I have an article version of this video that you can check out right now. The link is also below this video. I go into a little more in depth than I do in this video, because YouTube gets really mad if videos go too long. So if you want a more in-depth version of this, hit the link below. Check out the article. And are you ready? We're going to drop the bomb. Here we go. The two things. Are you ready? Thing number one, drum roll, sourcing. Sourcing inventory is one of the two things that if you focus on, you can do everything else wrong and still make money. You ready for number two? Any guesses? Any guesses? Number two, the only other thing you have to manage and do well in your Amazon business, repricing. You thought I was going to say something philosophical. You thought I was going to say something abstract. No, these are very specific. Sourcing and repricing are the two things. If you just focus on those, you can ignore everything else. That's literally it. This is not hyperbole. I'm not saying these are the top two things. I'm saying these are the only two things that you need to focus on. Okay, now I'm going to sit back right now and just let like 90% of you who are completely in vehement disagreement with everything I've just said to just start throwing your tomatoes at the screen. I'm going to sit back and take it all the abuse, because I know what a lot of you are thinking. You're like, hold on, Peter Valley. The internet said that I need to be successful on Amazon. I must optimize my workflow, and I must have a spreadsheet that tracks my sell-through rate, and I must sign up for 3 different feedback management tools, and all the stuff the internet, in quotes, is telling you that you need in order to be successful. Well, guess what? I got a guy here. He's wearing a ski mask, so you can't argue with him. This guy here says otherwise. He's saying sourcing and repricing, that's it. You going to argue with the guy in a ski mask, or you going to believe the people on the internet? It's up to you. I'm going to go with the ski mask guy. Okay, sourcing. Why does it matter so much? Of course, it's obvious, right? That's the stuff you sell. Sourcing is getting the stuff that you sell. So it's kind of obvious. This would be the one of the two things. But most people don't realize, like, this is where 90% of your effort should be going. 90%. Now, I just made up that number, but the point is the vast majority of your effort should go towards getting your hands on profitable stuff that you can then resell back on Amazon for a profit. So what does it mean to master sourcing? It's really two things. Number one, sourcing quality inventory. Understanding when you pick up a book or pick up any product and then look at the data on your scanning app, is this an item that you should purchase or an item that you should pass on? Okay, so sourcing quality inventory is part one of mastering sourcing. Part two is sourcing abundant inventory. It's just whatever you did to get the one quality item of inventory, doing that a lot more times. Doing it consistently, going out, hitting your sources as often as you possibly can. The more abundant you're sourcing and the more you source quality inventory, obviously the more money you're gonna make. Okay, repricing. Why does this matter so much? Also kind of obvious, but not as obvious. Now on Amazon, prices can fluctuate, sometimes with certain products, literally hundreds of times a day. As soon as you ship something into Amazon, the price starts to shift. As soon as it goes live, people are undercutting you, the price goes up, the price goes down. Things start to change very, very rapidly. So if you have inventory for sale and it is not repriced, those items are effectively not for sale because there's a very good chance that many people have come along and underpriced you, which means no one's gonna find your inventory, which means no one's gonna buy it, which means it's effectively not for sale at all. It's technically for sale, but functionally speaking, no one's seeing it, so it's not for sale. So what does it mean to master repricing? Very, very simple. Number one, repricing intelligently. Intelligently means not just going through and just dropping the price on everything every single day until it sells. Okay, that would be doofus pricing. Doofus pricing is the opposite of repricing intelligently. The second part of mastering repricing is repricing consistently, not neglecting it. I'd recommend about once a day if you can. There is such a thing as repricing too much, but there's definitely such a thing also as repricing too little. Okay, now you basically just got free $200 coaching. Now, why do I say that? Well, you might notice I never advertise coaching. I don't do coaching services. Most people on the internet with YouTube channels or blogs are always like, coaching, coaching, coaching. I don't do that. A few times, more than a few, people have come to me and said, Peter Valley, will you please coach me? One time, I decided as an experiment just to say yes and throw an insane number out. And I was like, $200 for an hour. They said yes, to my shock. And then I've since done that maybe 7 times in like the 12 years of FBAmaster.com. Okay, so like I almost never do it. But the point of all this is every time I do coaching, I get someone on the phone and I'm like, okay, tell me about number one, your sourcing, and number two, your repricing. Tell me how often you're sourcing, where you're sourcing, what your buying criteria is, and then tell me how often you're repricing and your general pricing strategy. And then all I do for the next hour is hammer away at those two things. And inevitably, they want to take the conversation elsewhere. And they're like, what do you think about my feedback score? What do you think about my workflow? And I'm like, no. And it's just all I do is I bring it right back to those two things and I just hammer away for an entire hour. Sourcing, repricing, all I hammer away. Sourcing, repricing. That's it. Okay, I'm starting to sound crazy. Calm down, Peter Valley. Here's the deal, you guys. Going forward, put these two things on a Post-it note above your computer, wherever you do your work. Obsess over them. You now have a North Star. Cut out everything else. Sourcing and repricing are the only two things that you should focus on going forward. Now that you've experienced this absolutely insane rant, you now have a 3-part mission. Are you ready? Mission number 1, subscribe to my YouTube channel. As I said, I will come to your house and rearrange your furniture. Like literally the next time you leave the house, I will come to your house when you're out, rearrange your furniture. If you do not subscribe to my YouTube channel right now. Number 2, head to FBAmaster.com. There's a link below this video. You can get all the free stuff you see here. You can build an entire business off of what I give away for free courses, free reports, an insane amount of stuff, FBAmaster.com. Mission number 3, this time we've spent together is wasted if you do not take what you learned in this video and go make money with it. You will make a lot of money if you put this into practice. This is Peter Valley signing off, and I'll see you in the next video.